Yo, you, drop a like right now in the next 5 seconds if you are enjoying Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I love this game. All right, what is happening? How's everybody doing today? My name is Chuck, and welcome back to a brand new video. So we are back at it here again, giving you guys my top 5 most overpowered classes to use here in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. I did this series a lot here in Modern Warfare, and it is, of course, going to be sticking through in here to Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War because I love playing this game, and I know you guys are going to really enjoy playing it. So I want to make sure that since I've sunk so much time into multiplayer so far, that I give you guys my top 5 most OP classes for you guys to be able to use here in this entire game. Before we get any further into the video, though, if you guys haven't already, slap a like on this video, subscribe with those notifications turned on. Make sure you guys comment down in the comment section below. We're on our road to 1 million subscribers, so join me. You know what I'm saying? I want to hit 1 million subscribers this year. All right, so let's actually jump into this here, and this is going to be, you know, a bunch of different classes and stuff that I've had success with. Let's actually jump into my favorite gun currently right now in Black Ops Cold War, which is actually going to be the AK-47. So let's actually jump into this. The first thing we're going to take a look at here is we're going to be going into the muzzle category, and what I want to slap on here is the GRU suppressor. And as you guys know, this year compared to Modern Warfare, if I actually hit R2 and I go to the details, there's a whole bunch of crazy statistics that you can actually take a look at, which in my opinion is absolutely crazy. And I mean, I think this is, you know, a really good cool thing to be able to do. And something I've noticed a lot when I'm making these classes and when I've actually been leveling up all these guns is that a lot of the better attachments do come a little bit later on as the later level unlocks compared to something like Modern Warfare, where you can see the Commando foregrip was an incredible attachment on basically all these different weapons, but it was a fairly early level unlock, super early on. So, but actually, speaking of the GRU suppressor, the GRU suppressor is actually going to be my top choice here on the AK-47. I normally say to go with the regular suppressor if you do not happen to have this, because it can take a while. I mean, it does take over 1,000 kills, I do believe, you know, to be able to actually fully level your gun up. So, I mean, it still takes a while, and it takes a long time for sure. I hope they actually buff, you know, the weapon leveling a little bit, because this takes an extremely long time. But the GRU suppressor is my go-to. Jumping in here to the barrel section, we have a few different things we can actually choose from here. So let's actually jump into this. So we have the 15.5 ultralight, the 16.5 cavalry, the 18.2 VDV reinforced, the 20 liberator, the 18.2 takedown, and of course the 20 Spetsnaz RPK barrel. And so basically there's a whole bunch of these things that you can actually take a look at. Originally in the beta, I was actually running something and I was like, oh, 200%, you know, it's you go down there and look at firepower, and you see the firepower increases, but basically all it's doing is increasing your vehicle damage. So if you're not going to be taking stuff out of the sky, there's inherently no reason for you to run a barrel or something like this. It just statistically does not make any sense for you to be able to do that. So what I would actually recommend doing is actually sticking towards something like, let's say, the reinforced barrel when you're kind of midway leveling this gun up, because it does take a long time to level some guns up. Then when you actually do get a little bit farther down into, you know, the unlocks of this weapon, what I'd suggest going with is the 20 Spetsnaz RPK barrel, because this gives you that plus 11% damage, that 50% effective damage range, and of course that 50% bullet velocity, which is the trifecta of, you know, what stuff I always talk about with barrels here in Modern Warfare. So this was going to be my barrel of choice on the AK-47. Now we're going to be in the AK-47 under barrel section. So we have a few different foregrips we can choose from: the regular foregrip, the infiltrator, the patrol, the bruiser, the Spetsnaz, and of course the Spetsnaz speed grip. And like I was saying, a lot of these kind of these better foregrips come along at a later level unlock. So, you know, right off the rip, you're of course going to get the foregrip, which is definitely super useful because it will help with that horizontal recoil control. And of course we do need some type of recoil control on this gun, so I highly recommend actually running, you know, a foregrip on here. If, you know, if you're kind of contemplating on not running one, I'd recommend running one. So one of the things I do like about this is, of course, that, you know, I will run the regular foregrip for a while until I actually get all the way down here to about the Spetsnaz grip, and then of course, and when I get to the Spetsnaz speed grip, which actually is, you know, the sprinting movement speed, the horizontal recoil control. So I mean, this gives you vertical recoil control, but if you feel like you can handle the vertical and horizontal recoil and you want more speed, then go to Spetsnaz speed grip, or you can go to Spetsnaz grip, which is, you know, the 6% recoil vertical and then the 20% horizontal. These are really good attachments, both of these. It just kind of depends on your playstyle, but for me personally, I'm going to go with the Spetsnaz speed grip because I want more speed when I'm rushing around in this game, because it seems like to me my character feels just a tad bit clunkier. So next up, we're going to be here in the AK-47 magazine category, and so this is a very interesting one. So we have the 40 round, the taped mag, which is a 30 round dual mag. This is the 40 round speed mag, the Bakelite 50 round mag. Then we have the GRU mag clamp, which is basically still 30 rounds plus like an extra mag and stuff like that. And then we have the VDV 50 round fast mag. And I just basically should tell you guys is that, I mean, like much like we do in Modern Warfare, where I always say take, you know, the highest amount of ammo possible. I mean, literally, I'm just going to be taking, you know, the VDV 50 round fast mag just because this is going to be the best thing to be using. And honestly, what you can do until you actually have it is use the 40 round speed speed mag. I don't really think the taped mags are all that great, to be honest with you. I'm not a huge fan of them. I would just say the speed mags are going to be the best ones for you to be able to use, especially in multiplayer. I mean, I don't know exactly about Warzone just yet because we don't have the option to have these weapons integrated there, but I would suggest using the 40 round mag or the 50 round speed mag here. These are going to be your top two options because we don't have, like a 60 round mag or something like that. So go ahead and use the VD 50 round or the 40 round speed mag if you happen to have that one and you're not as far level unlock. I just have to make this, I just have to talk about both of these just because, I mean, it takes a long time to level stuff up. And the last thing we're going to be able to do here for the AK-47 is go into the handle section. So there is a variety of different handles that I actually do like, but actually one in specific is going to be the ultimate best one. And actually what is really nice about it is that if you pre-order, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and you have the AK-47 pre-order variant, you'll actually get this grip anyways. So of course we have, the speed tape, we have, the drop shot wrap, which is your flinch resistance, your aim while going prone, your field tape, which is your a lot of flinch resistance, your Spetsnaz field grip, which is your aim down sights time, your flinch resistance, your serpent wrap, which is your plus 25% aim down sights time, and then your GRU elastic wrap. This is the one that actually does come with the AK-47, is your plus 30% aim down sights time, plus 90% flinch resistance, and aim while going prone. This is quite literally like two of those different grips actually thrown into like one right here, and I would say, I mean, this is essentially the best one. It's the last unlock you do happen to get unless you have that pre-order bonus. So go ahead and run the pre-order AK-47 basically until you get this, just because, I mean, it has this on there already. And I would just say, I mean, hey, like, definitely use this. This is a fantastic attachment to finish off our AK-47 class setup. This is an incredible gun, one of my favorites, if not my favorite gun to use right now in Black Ops Cold War. Now let's actually jump into another class here that I actually really like, which is the XM4, a tried and true assault rifle that I do think is actually really good. So let's jump into this. First thing we're going to do is go straight into the optic section. And usually I normally don't run an optic on a lot of my guns, but it seems like in Cold War, some of the iron sights I'm not exactly a fan of. So I do have to start running something like an optic on here. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to go for something very simple. And you can either run something like the quick dot LED, but what I actually really like is the Microflex LED. It's a very simplistic red dot sight. And I like that. I don't like getting too crazy with it. I don't like putting on all these different, stuff like, the Hawk Moors, the Royal Cross, 4 times, the Sussat multi-zoom. Like, there's no reason for me to throw on some of this crazy stuff in here. So what I would say is just run something simple like the Microflex LED or like the quick dot or something, just to help you with a little bit of that target acquisition. It just is a lot better. I think the iron sights are a little bit intrusive on the XM4. So unlike the M4A1 from Modern Warfare, the XM4, kind of like the equivalent or like the Commando in this game, I don't feel is inherently has as good iron sights as the M4. So I would say run the red dot sight on here. Throw like the Microflex on there and you'll be good to go. Next up, we're in the muzzle category. So what I'm actually going to go ahead and do is we're going for a suppressor. And like I always say, what you should do is use a regular suppressor until you happen to have the agency suppressor, which is the ultimate, best suppressor to be able to get. Unfortunate that it basically is one of the last level unlocks, so you don't technically get to really experience the true potential of a lot of these guns until you level them fully up, which, I mean, I do kind of get, I do get in a way, but it'd be nice if we had some, the best attachments or the quote-unquote best attachments, a little bit earlier on. So I would say the agency suppressor is fantastic. You guys need to use this. 100% muzzle flash concealment, keeping you entirely off the radar, and plus 7% vertical recoil control. So, I mean, you really can't complain about that. It's a vertical recoil control plus keeping you off the radar. Pretty good. So now we're in here in the barrel section. We need to kind of up our, recoil control, bullet velocity, all that stuff here with this gun. So we have a variety of options. We have the 11.8 Ranger, the 12.5 Cavalry Lancer, 13.5 Reinforced, the 13.7 Extended, the 13.7 Takedown, and a 13.5 Task Force. And what I should say is the great mid-level unlock here is going to be the Reinforced Heavy. And this is going to be something that I really like using because this gives me that 100% effective damage range plus 40% bullet velocity. So this is actually a really good barrel, and you guys can definitely just rock this out entirely. If you don't want to actually go all the way down here to the very end and get your 13.5 Task Force barrel, which is your plus 7% damage, plus 50% effective damage range, and of course plus 50% bullet velocity. So it's kind of a bit of a trade-off here. I mean, you're not going to get as much of, the 100% effective damage range as you are, but I mean, you are going to get, plus 7% damage and some bullet velocity. So it's kind of like what would you rather have? Me personally, I'd kind of rather go the 13.5 Task Force barrel. I think this thing is insane, and I really like this. So I'm going to put this on there. Now we're in the foregrip section, so let's actually jump in here. So we have options. Of course, we can use the regular foregrip, which is definitely really good. I mean, I feel like they did definitely nerf the recoil a bit on this gun. I wasn't using a foregrip in the beta towards the end, but I do feel that when I picked this gun up for the first time here in the regular game, I was like, yo, this thing has a lot of recoil, and I do need to use a grip on this. So we're going to use either the regular foregrip, or we're going to go all the way down to something like, the field agent grip and then the SFOD speed grip. These are going to be fantastic for you guys. Of course, very late level unlocks, so I would suggest using the field agent grip if you want some more recoil control, and if you want some more speed, go with the speed grip. I mean, it's kind of a little bit self-explanatory, but if you feel like you can manage that recoil and don't need as much, then use speed grip. And if you do need more, then you should use the agent grip. This is going to be really solid. I think that because this gun has a tad bit more recoil than I'd prefer, I'm just going to say to use the field agent grip, and this thing is going to absolutely beam. So go ahead and throw this on there. Last but definitely not least, here we're going to be in the XM4 magazine section. So like I said, this is a lot of personal preference. Much like we were doing the AK, there's the 40 round speed mag, and of course then there's all these other different mags in here, and then there's a salvo 50 round fast mag. So I mean, it really just, like I said, comes down to personal preference. I personally would rather run the salvo 50 round fast mag. It's just my cup of tea. I like it. I mean, it's just, I like using the biggest mag possible that's also going to be the fastest reload possible, and this seems to do the trick. I mean, it's going to increase my rounds, out of my magazine from the default 30 to 50, which is fantastic. It's almost doubling my magazine size. So this is going to be my attachment of choice, and I'd suggest you guys to use this one as well. Now let's actually jump in here to class number 3, which is actually going to be the Krig 6, a very underrated assault rifle. So let's jump into this here. So jumping into the optics section, much like we were doing with the XM4, I do feel like I need a bit of an optic on this, and I don't want to spend too much time on the specific optics section here, because it's going to be very similar to what we were doing with the XM4. So I'm going to go down here. I'm just going to say that the Microflex LED is going to be fantastic. It is my optic of choice. I don't really have to go around too much. It's kind of going to be like Modern Warfare, where there's going to be about 1 to 2 optics for me that are going to be like my top tier for multiplayer, and of course for Warzone. So I'm going to be swapping in and out between those two, and of course maybe later on down the life cycle I'll find more stuff that's good. Maybe something will get buffed, nerfed, so on and so forth. But the Microflex is fantastic. You guys should use this. And in the muzzle category, we are going to be once again going for a suppressor, because unlike Modern Warfare, you do actually show up on the radar in multiplayer when you actually fire a gun that's not suppressed. So that's a huge difference. Not only can you be heard, but you can indeed be seen, and there's a whole bunch of other ways to see you on the map. So I would just suggest running a suppressor just kind of to begin with. So what I'd say is run the regular suppressor as soon as you happen to get that, and of course when you actually do get a little bit further on down the unlock tree, you should use the agency suppressor, because it is ultimately going to be the better one of the two. And I just think that the agency suppressor is going to inherently be the top suppressor, kind of like the monolithic suppressor of this game. I mean, just you can't really compete with the agency. It's just that good. So on this gun, we also have a few different options here. We have the ultralight, the cavalry lancer, the contour, the ranger, the takedown, and then the CMV mil spec. And so honestly, what I normally say, I was like, hey, go for the last barrel, because that's what we did in the XM4. But what I actually like here the most is actually the 19.7 takedown barrel, because this gives me a plus 150% effective damage range, making this gun super good. As you guys can see, there's a bunch of these other different barrels in here that do a variety of things, but nothing is going to go absolutely crazy on this. And what I really want is just to be able to have that effective damage range, because I'm not getting more actual damage out of my gun. There's no like sort of barrel on this gun that's going to really do what the barrels did on the XM4. So you want to be able to make this as lethal as possible. So use that 19.7 takedown. This thing is going to be awesome. That means the foregrip section, of course, I would say run the base foregrip as soon as you happen to get it. This gun does actually benefit vastly from having a regular foregrip on there, which is definitely good. And some of these other ones here, like, I mean, these are okay. I mean, these help with your speed and stuff, but not necessarily a lot with your recoil control. Then your sprinting ones, your melee quickness, which, I mean, I don't really know why you'd need melee quickness with this gun. And, I'm not going to be meleeing people really anyways. And then, of course, we have your field agent grip, which is your vertical recoil control and your horizontal recoil control, and the SOVD speed grip, which is your plus 10% sprinting movement speed and plus 15% horizontal recoil control. So if you feel like you can control the recoil more, you want a little bit more speed, use the SFOD speed grip. And then if you want to happen to have more recoil control and don't really care as much about your movement, then use the field agent grip. Personally, I'm going to go with the SFOD speed grip just because I like to be able to move around as fast as possible, and I love feeling mobile. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and run this. And of course, basically like with every other gun, we need to have an extended magazine on here. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, of course, we're going to go down and use the salvo 50 round fast mag. And what I would use otherwise would be the 40 round speed mag, just because, I mean, it is basically, the same thing as the 50 round, but just it's called the speed mag instead of a fast mag. I mean, it's inherently the same thing with just with 10 less rounds. So use this until you get up to the 50 round. That is going to be my sort of thing that I would suggest to you guys, because of course it takes a long time to level up your guns, and you want to be able to have good attachments for the meantime, not just necessarily when you get all the way up to the very top, because it's not like Modern Warfare. It takes, quite a long time to actually get these attachments, like 1,000+ kills, thing is what I was saying. So yeah, go ahead and run this when you get a chance to. it is good. Now jumping into one of my favorite guns here in the SMG category, which is going to be the MP5. The MP5 is fantastic, and you guys are for sure going to actually like this setup. So we don't need an optic on this gun, so we're going to go straight into the muzzle category, and what we're going to do, of course, is add on a suppressor. Like I always say, sound suppressor is going to be fantastic, but if you happen to move up in those levels, what we're going to do is run the agency suppressor here, because that plus 100% muzzle flash concealment, and then that plus 7% vertical recoil control, which is going to make this thing fantastic. I'd highly recommend throwing this on here as soon as you happen to get it. Now in the barrel section, we don't have to spend a ton of time on here, but we have the extended barrel, the cavalry lancer, the reinforced heavy, the ranger, the rifled, and then of course the task force. And what I should say is that the best barrel that you're going to find in here is inherently going to be the 9.5 task force, with your plus 6% damage, your 50% effective damage range, and your plus 75% bullet velocity, which is incredible. You guys are going to want to be able to use this one as soon as you happen to get it. It is a high level unlock, like, you know, unlike some of these other ones in here, but until you get that one, I'd recommend running the reinforced heavy, because this is your plus 18% effective damage range and plus 80% bullet velocity. This is going to be very good as well, but it is not quite as good as the task force barrel in my opinion. So use the reinforced heavy until you happen to get the task force. When you have the task force, throw this on there immediately. In the foregrip section, we do need a foregrip for this gun because it fires so fast, and it does have a decent bit of kick and recoil. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to go down here and we're going to use obviously the regular foregrip as soon as we happen to get it, because that's just, you know, what we're going to go ahead and do. But then honestly, what we're going to do is we're going to use the field agent grip, or we're going to use the SFOD speed grip. And I haven't found too much of a difference. I mean, I like speed. I think that we have a lot of speed with this gun already, and I do like that, you know, 50% horizontal recoil control, and I feel like I can deal with the vertical recoil in this gun. But you know, I guess it just kind of is depending on the day, but I would say use the SFOD speed grip, especially if you like moving around a little bit faster. This is really good, and I like this quite a bit. This is definitely one of my favorite grips in the game. In the magazine section, of course, we have to be able to take a look at this. I mean, honestly, this comes with what, 30 round stock, so we need to, you know, bolster this quite a bit. So honestly, I mean, you can get the 40 round drum mag off rip, which is definitely really good. I mean, it increases that, but I would immediately swap out to the 40 round speed mag as soon as you happen to unlock that. And then when you actually go up even a little bit farther into the tree, I would say that you should use the Salva 50 round fast mag, as this is going to be your inherent best bet with your max amount of ammunition you can carry, and of course it's going to be, you know, fast as well, which is incredible. This is inherently going to be the best attachment for you guys, and go ahead and use this. Now we're in the handle section because we have an extra slot, because we weren't using an optic, and we're also not going to be having 8 attachments on our gun. I should inherently say that we need to use a handle, because these things are incredibly beneficial. And so, I mean, what I'm going to say is I'm just going to go all the way down to the very bottom one here, which is going to be the airborne elastic, and this is going to give you that plus 30% aim down sight time, plus 90% flinch resistance, which is huge in this game. And of course, then there's plus aiming while going prone. So this is like a 3-for-1. I mean, this is incredible. This is a very good grip, or handle is what I should say, and you guys need to run this. Last but definitely not least, one of the most overpowered guns that is not technically an AR but is a tactical rifle is the M16. So jumping into this, we're going to keep this very simple. We're not going to go with anything crazy. I would suggest using something like maybe the Cobra red dot, or maybe something like the quick dot LED. We're not going to be going absolutely crazy with this gun. I mean, you're not going to be picking people off from super long ranges, but I guess if you really want to pick people off from a bit longer range, you can use something like, you know, the Silix Hollow Scout or something like that. But I would just genuinely suggest using something like the quick dot, or maybe, you know, your Cobra red dot. That's just going to be like a personal preference type of thing at the end of the day, but for me, I'm more of a quick dot type of guy, and I like this, so I'm going to go and slap this on there. In the muzzle section, because we want to stay off the radar, we inherently are going to use a silencer. Like I would say, use this silencer until you happen to level up a little bit farther, which inherently then when you level up farther, you get the agency silencer. You know, the agency is of course the monolithic of this game, like I was saying previously on some of the other classes that I was making. The agency is fantastic. Go ahead and use this. There's basically no, you know, doubt in my mind that this is the best. For our barrel section, we have a few options here. We have the rapid fire barrel, the cavalry lancer, the strike team, the titanium, the match grade, and of course then we have the task force. And I should say that off rip, the task force is inherently going to be the best here if you have the option to use each and every single one of these barrels. But if you don't have the option to use all these barrels, I would recommend using something like the 15.9 strike team. This is going to be your plus 14% damage, plus 18% fire rate, or I mean, you could really just go down here to use something like 20.5 match grade. But when you actually get up to 20.5s, I'd say that the task force is inherently going to be the best one by far. This is going to be the best barrel. I would use this one when you get the chance to, but until then, use something like, you know, the strike team, and that's going to help out you a little bit. And yeah, it's going to be fantastic. So use the strike team, and then when you get up to the task force, use the task force to swap it out. That's going to be my my recommendation. So you do need a grip on this gun here, and I would actually suggest using, of course, you know, the Field Agency foregrip, just so you can maintain that recoil control. I mean, plus for 10% vertical recoil control and plus 40% horizontal recoil control. I normally would say something go down with like the SOD speed grip, but because this is a tactical rifle, it's not like an AR, it's not like an SMG. We want to be able to make sure we hit as many shots as possible, and especially because this is a burst weapon, we need to make sure we hit as many shots as we possibly can. So we're going to use the Field Agent foregrip here, and this is going to be your best bet. And last but definitely not least, we want to go into the magazine section here, and we want to be able to, of course, add on an extended mag. So I'd say the 45 round mag is going to be good off of rip. You're going to get the 40 round speed mag, which then you should add on after that and swap out, you know, swap out the regular 45 for the speed mag, and then you should go all the way on up here then afterwards to the Salvo 54 round fast mag. I mean, I just think this is inherently going to be the best one. I mean, who doesn't want to have 54 rounds of burst ammunition in an M16? You can take out so many people before you even have to reload, so this thing is going to be absolutely crazy. And I do like the M16. It is very broken, very good, and you guys should 100% use this. So this is my M16 loadout here. This thing is fantastic. You guys should like to use this. And of course, then I haven't really outfitted my secondary because I'm not really going over those, but I do happen to use the stim shot, the C4x2, the field mic, and of course, then I use the perks of flak jacket, gearhead, and ghost, and of course, then with the danger close wild card. That is basically a universal setup right here on every single one of my classes. It does not change. This is my top recommendation for perks, attachments, you know, equipment, lethal tactical, field upgrade, everything like that for my first ever top 5 video. So that's all I got for you guys here then today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, slap a like on it, subscribe, those notifications turn on. Make sure you guys comment down in the comment section below. Go check out any of these videos here up on screen. With that being said, I'll see you guys back here again tomorrow with a brand new video. Just remember, triple cap, don't be Randy, and I'm out. Peace.